You can prepare for a lot of things: coming out, facing judgment, even hearing someone say, "I already knew." But no one prepares you for losing people you love. I came out as lesbian or bi and lost people I thought would be in my life forever. And what hurts the most isn't even the rejection. It's the silence, the distance, the emptiness that takes the place of what once felt like certainty. But here's what almost no one talks about. There is a way back to yourself, even after losing someone who once felt irreplaceable. And today, I'm going to show you how to turn that invisible grief into something that can actually make you stronger. Drop this in the comments. I won't shrink myself to fit into anyone's world, because that sentence needs to be yours from now on. When I came out as a lesbian, I felt the pain of watching friendships that used to be constant turn into unread messages and avoided eye contact. And the cruelest part was that it happened right when I needed them the most. It hit hard and suddenly, like a piece of me was left behind, along with that friendship or family bond that once felt unconditional. Many women feel this kind of pain after coming out, not just because of fear, but because of the loneliness that follows, almost like a silent punishment for being honest. This kind of LGBTQIA+ family rejection and the loss of friends after coming out leaves emotional wounds, not because those people were perfect, but because they represented safety. And it hurts like grieving a friendship, like losing someone who's still alive but suddenly doesn't see you anymore. And sometimes, all we really want is not to lose ourselves in the process too. After a woman comes out as lesbian or bi and starts to feel the loss that follows, that inner voice begins to whisper, "Did I really need to say anything?" That thought is the result of years spent trying to fit in, to shrink herself, to stay quiet just to be accepted. And sometimes it feels like the world wants us to apologize simply for being who we are. But the truth is, coming out, no matter how hard it is, doesn't push people away. It only reveals who was truly willing to stay. When someone says, "I came out and they ignored me," along with the pain of rejection comes this almost automatic need to justify the other person, like maybe the problem was her. That kind of guilt is just an echo of the fear of rejection we were taught since we were young. But prejudice is a choice. Coming out isn't a mistake or a sign of disrespect, it's pure courage. And when someone turns their back on you, just like they did on me, it says far more about their emotional limits than it does about your right to exist freely. After I came out as lesbian or bi, in the middle of all the loss and rejection, I found something no one could ever take away from me, a deeper connection with myself. That was the beginning of a much more honest relationship with my own truth. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about realizing that the biggest gain was being able to exist fully, without masks, without filters, with real self-love. Of course it hurts to lose people who mattered. But when I stood in the empty space that coming out had left behind, I realized it was also an invitation, a place waiting to be filled with something more real. The freedom to be who I am, to walk with my head held high, to speak without needing to justify myself. Maybe what looked like loss was really the beginning of a different kind of love, one that's more honest, more mine. After the loss that came with coming out, many of us realized that the love we received had an expiration date and came with terms and conditions. It's not easy to face that, but it is freeing. Relationships that can't handle your truth were never love, they were control. Real love accepts, adapts, grows with you. When you come out and someone pulls away, the instinct might be to chase after them, to explain yourself, to blame yourself. But there is a quiet strength in recognizing that you never have to negotiate your right to exist. Coming out might push away the ones who only knew how to love you halfway, but it also opens the door to those who are ready to love you fully. And sometimes, what feels like rejection is really life clearing out old contracts so you can finally make room for something real. The grief over friendships that faded after I came out as a lesbian isn't physical, it's symbolic, quiet, and sometimes even more painful. Because the other person is still alive, but they act like you no longer exist. Many women carry that pain alone, not even sure if they have the right to feel so deeply about losing a friendship. But they do. Honoring that ending doesn't mean staying stuck in it. It means recognizing it with the dignity it deserves. Rejection from family for a lesbian, bi, or queer woman needs space to be felt, but it doesn't get to define you. The more you allow yourself to feel, the stronger you become. And maybe, in that space where silence is finally validated, a new part of you is beginning to grow, one you don't even fully know yet. But she already knows. She will not stay quiet for less than she deserves. In this new space, cleared of old contracts, the most genuine relationships begin to grow. When a lesbian, bi, or queer woman comes out and faces rejection, she starts to see more clearly who truly stays, who loves without trying to shape her. These people exist. Sometimes it's a friend who was quietly there all along, a new connection that shows up gently, or even a community that listens like no one ever has. This is the fertile ground where safer bonds and more honest love begin to take root. Lesbian self-love, emotional support, and new friendships come from places where you can breathe fully. You don't need to beg for acceptance or shrink yourself to fit in. The people who truly love you want to see you living your truth, not hiding to be accepted. And the ones who stay completely. It's in that quiet, steady presence that the hope for a freer life begins to bloom. If you've been through something like this, if you felt the pain of losing people after coming out as lesbian, bi, or queer, know that your story matters. It might be the light at the end of the tunnel for someone who's still stuck in silence. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And tell me in the comments, did you lose someone after coming out? Sometimes, all a woman needs is to know she's not alone, that someone else has walked this path, and that yes, there is a beautiful life waiting on the other side. Sometimes what feels like an ending is really the beginning of a reunion with your truth. When a woman comes out as lesbian, bi, or queer and faces the pain of rejection, she learns that self-love isn't a destination, it's a path. You don't have to fit into spaces that shrink you or bend yourself just to be accepted. You only need to keep choosing to love yourself, even when the world tries to convince you not to. Some losses hurt so deeply that we almost forget why we chose to live our truth in the first place. But when you allow yourself to feel with gentleness, you realize that what remains is more real than anything that left. You don't have to hide anymore or shape yourself just to be accepted. You just have to keep standing up with honesty even if you carry scars. There is a kind of strength that's born in the space between fear and freedom. And that strength will take you to places where love is whole, light, and possible.